Would you ever build for 24 hours straight? What's up, Domino community? It is time for another Q&A. I have not done a Q&A video since like February of this year, so it's been 8 months. It is about time to do another one. You all asked some really great ones over on my community tab and on social media and on my website, which I will be starting with. Also, I'm doing a giveaway, so stay till the end to see how you could win some free H5 Domino creations. So let's dive right into it. We got a great question from the 16th Domino who asks, would you rather never build a field or never build a 3D structure ever again? Wow, okay. Hands down though, I gotta say, I would never build a field. I think fields personally are just more boring for me. It feels like it's more repetitive than building a structure for some reason. I don't know why. It's just like looking at a plan and like filling a template for like 100 times in a row feels a little more exhausting than like seeing a structure getting built up, and you can like see more of the progress, and the orientation of the domino, whether it's like parallel or horizontal, makes it more like varied in a way. So I would probably choose never building a field over never building a structure. I really enjoy building structures, to be honest. Froggy Dominoes asks, on my floor I have carpet and I can't really build dominoes on it, and I can't build on my table because there's always stuff on top of it. What do you recommend for me to do? That's tough when there isn't a lot of space. Is it possible to like temporarily clean the table and move it somewhere and then put it back temporarily? I know some people, they've gotten like long wooden boards to build on. For example, Shade's Dominoes back in the day got these giant boards, and you can just place them down on any surface and it acts as like a temporary floor. So if you're building on carpet, that could be an option. You could get smaller size boards and build on that. Screen links are also very good, so you don't have to take up a lot of space. I would recommend wooden boards. That's probably the best option. Blue Domino Lab asks, would you sometimes be very depressed or thinking of starting to cry while your setup had failed and everything toppled to pieces while you're left? Well, I will admit, I've cried many times as I'm building my setups, or I'll like come back to see the setups fallen by accident, or it's something that I've done and I knocked it over by accident. This is mostly when I kind of first started building, but like, it's tough, you know, it happens. We all get through it. I think this is just part of the process and journey of a domino builder. There are gonna be tough times when you can't plan for it and things just go wrong. Something that dominoes have taught me personally is truly how to persevere and not get upset by the small things. Like, in retrospect, it's a domino project. We're not trying to cure cancer, you know? It's okay. It is okay. So just know, like, even if you knock down your dominoes, if something goes wrong, you get sad about it. I do too. It's okay. But we get through it. Our next question comes from Wandom, who asks, what are some things you can recommend for making setups, emphasis on with greater than 1,000 dominoes, on a small and slippery surface like marble? Well, a slippery and small surface, that can be tough because the dominoes are going to be sliding around a lot and potentially taking up more space than typical. I would honestly recommend just making as many structures as you can. But at the same time, having a lot of barriers will probably help. We're adding taped dominoes, like one-way tape hinge dominoes, so they don't slide as much. You can always make screen links, or if needed, you could build like on top of dominoes to make it less slippery, like flat dominoes. But really, I think probably building structures is your best bet. Catching Cants asks, what is your most meaningful setup that you have made? Well, it's probably the video I did, 10,000 dominoes. This is how I express myself. That was just a video combining all of my passions, things that I love in my life, and putting it all in one video, and it was just like a really personal thing. I also had like pictures of people in my life and like all my hobbies, like rock climbing and skiing and playing piano and all that stuff. So it's like a really special one specifically because it's like a project for myself in a way, and it celebrates everything that makes me me. Our next question is from Phil Acoustic, who asks, are you doing any upcoming events in Shreveport, Louisiana that I can take part of? So at the moment, I don't have anything planned for that area. However, I do have a newsletter where I'll update you on all the Domino events that are going on around the world. So if you haven't subscribed to that yet, you can check out the H5 Domino community newsletter right over here. Sign up for that. It is super easy. I will send you an email personally at the end of every month with everything you need to know about Dominoes and how you can get involved. So hopefully that will help. This is like a philosophical question from Rachel's room, who asks, would you rather build Dominoes or topple Dominoes? See, this is like the chicken or egg thing. Like, if you're toppling Dominoes, then who built it? And if you're building Dominoes, are you going to topple it? Like obviously you can't have one without the other, but what would I rather do? I mean, let's entertain both ideas, right? If I choose, I'd rather topple Dominoes. That's me hitting the first piece and like watching the chain reaction go. But it's like, if I didn't build it, how can I know that it's gonna be something that I'm going to enjoy? Like, it could just be like a really long line, and that could end up being boring after a while. I feel like being part of the building process makes the topple more enjoyable and more exciting, because it's like, you know, you've spent the time designing it and putting it together and then toppling it. That's not to say that like I can't enjoy topples from other people, but it feels more special in a way, like when you create something and you see the payoff of it, if that makes sense. Now, on the other hand, would I rather build Dominoes but not topple it? I think a workaround to this is like, I can build the Dominoes, someone else can topple it. I think that's what I would choose. I think that's the answer to this question. Did I just cheat that question? I don't know. Domino Creativity asks, if you only have 10 Dominoes, what would you build out of it? So if I only had 10 Dominoes, I'd probably focus all in on making those smaller specialty tricks and like really like become an expert on how the mechanics of Dominoes work at like a very small scale level. Specialty tricks, I feel like you need to understand like a higher level of mechanics, just like the way that Dominoes fall, to ensure that things topple properly, because there's certain angles, there's certain forces and weights that really affect how smaller specialty tricks work, and there's a lot of intricate techniques that you can use that don't use a lot of Dominoes, and I would probably try to explore that. Yeah, don't underestimate the fact that you can really do a lot with it, and you can learn a lot from it as well that will translate into much larger things potentially in the future. JR Parkin asks, would you ever do what Domino Erdmann did and build for 24 hours straight? Oh boy, okay, 24 hours? I don't know if I'd make it. Like, I'd probably make it because I know I can push myself, but I would not be okay. I really value my sleep, so I probably would choose not to build for 24 hours straight. Yet, if something like urgently needed me to build for 24 hours straight, like there's a time crunch and it just like had to be done and I was the only builder, there were so many circumstances that like the only thing that is possible is for me to like build it to actually finish it, then I guess I would do it, but it would have to be a really convincing reason for me to. So Dory asks, have you ever ran out of Dominoes in a setup so you had to change something within the setup or the setup itself? Yes, this has happened quite a few times, like probably a lot more than I think, especially when I started building Dominoes and I didn't have a lot of colors yet. I remember I would have to like unbuild sections of things that I had already built, and I think I remember even one time I had to like create a new color or like tape paper, like colored paper onto the domino to change it into a certain color that I needed. But you know, there's little tricks like that you can do. It is a struggle in the beginning, but yeah, that has happened many times. Let's move on to Instagram questions. We got a question from Extra Toxic Crow, who asks, what do you enjoy most about Dominoes? You know, more recently, I really enjoy building big structures, or like something that's large that I could just kind of put my headphones on and like listen to a podcast and like chill out and not really have to think much. I don't know what that means, but I just think it's so relaxing. Before I go to bed, I love building Dominoes. That's like my favorite part of the day, and it still is. I don't know, it's just like kind of therapeutic. but also toppling it. That's like also the best part. I can't forget that. Our next question comes from rduff0, who asks, you're always so stylish. You ever think about starting a clothing line? Thank you. I feel like in most of my videos though, I'm just wearing my H5 shirts. Oh man, I wear that shirt a lot, don't I? I'm typically just wearing them in videos because it's like, it's comfortable, and it's like, why not rep the H5 brand in the video? I don't have to really think about it. It's kind of like a uniform for when I'm filming videos, so it's just kind of like just a go-to. It makes it a lot easier because then I don't have to think about what to wear. But speaking of clothing line, I don't know if this counts as a clothing line, but we are currently trying to make new merch right now, and this is super exciting because we haven't done this in like 5 years, and we're gonna be making some new designs. Besides t-shirts, there will be other products as well, and I'm so excited about it. I can't wait to show you. It's coming out soon, so stay tuned. Smalian asks, if you had unrestricted access to a famous landmark, what would it be and what kind of build would you do on it? I love that question. I think I would say Great Pyramids of Egypt. I would probably say the pyramids just because that's like the biggest fall wall ever. And I love fall walls. And like having a pyramid like that, you could build on all sides of it and have it start at the top and it'll go down on all sides and just like be an avalanche of dominoes. I feel like that'd be so fun. Also, provided that there's no wind at that time and the steps are flat, but theoretically, I would choose the pyramids. And then I could build a domino pyramid on the pyramid. Thomas Ramey asks, I wonder, just out of curiosity, as much as you like doing dominoes and building things out of them, do you also like doing puzzles? Yes, I actually really love making puzzles. At my lake house, there's always a puzzle set up on a table, and I'll just like go in there and like spend hours trying to like put together the puzzle. It's like if I am not working and I'm just like, I have some time and I just want to chill, like I really do enjoy making puzzles. Also, side note, I think we might make a puzzle of one of my domino designs. Like, wouldn't that be so cool? Like, you can put together a puzzle of a domino project. That'd be so fun. Blue Crabs asks, I've never built with anyone at a domino event before, so I've always wondered, when people bring their own dominoes and use them in the same build, do people's dominoes ever get mixed up with other dominoes from someone else's collection? Sometimes. It depends how you do it. I've been to events where we'll compile all of our dominoes together by color, but prior to that, we'll weigh them so we know how many of each color we have. So in the end, we'll sort them all by color and just weigh the amount of dominoes to get them back to the person that they need. However, in that situation, you're not getting your exact same dominoes back because it could be the same color from someone else, but you still get the proper amount. In other scenarios, sometimes we'll write down exactly where we've used specific colors in the setup so we can like go to that first and clean it up so we get our dominoes back. But in more recent events like at BMAC, we're pretty much using all of my own H5 domino creations, so it's not an issue of having other people get their dominoes back, which that has been quite a challenge in previous BMACs, but now I luckily have enough dominoes that I can just like bring them all. But yeah, a good way is to just weigh them. Any tips for people that can only build on a table? Stability? We have someone in the house in a power wheelchair. We have to keep the floors clear. So for building on a table, what is essential is that you get a stable table. You can make it as stable as possible just by like leveling it out on the four legs of it. Like if you need to add like a little extra support, make it stable on one side. It can kind of like prevent it from moving or shifting. You can even put those like foam things underneath table legs so it like has a little bit of a cushion, and that'll help absorb vibrations if you do accidentally hit the table, for example. But tables work really well for building. As long as it's a flat surface and it's not going to move, you're good. We have a question from S21 Dominoes who asks how to write names on domino building. Spelling out letters in dominoes. So I will probably make a whole video about this, but coming soon in our new merch drop, I will be putting out a whole guide and like field plan to make letters in dominoes. So all you'll have to do is follow the guide. It has all the patterns for every letter and every number, and that'll help you build words, write your name, like literally whatever you want to do. I am putting this together and it's going to be a super resource, so stay tuned. That is coming very soon. I kind of want to flip the script though and ask you some questions. So if you have like 5 to 10 minutes, there's a link in the description to fill out a survey. I'm just trying to get as much information as possible to learn about who's watching the videos, what kind of videos menus do you want to see more of? What do you want me to build? What kind of colors do you want in the future for H5 Domino creations? So many different types of questions that I would absolutely love your input on. So please definitely click the link in the description. Also, you could win a brand new 180 piece H5 Domino creations pack just by filling out the survey. I'm gonna be doing a giveaway to one random person who fills it out. So hopefully that is an incentive to go ahead and submit your feedback, and we will look through that and you could win some free Dominoes. I really do value your feedback. I will be looking at all the responses and just checking out what people want to see from Hevish 5. So if you'd like to participate in that, the link is down below. I appreciate your time so much. And before we go, I want to give a shout out to our featured community member, KS1 Domino Artist, who left this comment on a previous video. Really appreciate all the support. Thank you for being a part of the community. And as always, I'm Lily Hevish, and keep on building.